The term autonomous attack is quite broad because some people interpret it as anything that uses automation, which could literally be a script kiddie in a bedroom that's downloaded something from the dark web for a fiver and wants to give it a go. Or it could be as broad as a massive bank of machines running in a nation-state attack designed to take out a critical national infrastructure. But essentially, sometimes the weight of those minnows in bedrooms is almost as crippling, as WannaCry and others like proved. So autonomous attacks come in various flavours. A lot of autonomous attacks are designed to take advantage of basic failures in cyber hygiene. And the fact that, the fines are getting bigger, the number of attacks that are being reported are increasing. It's not kind of rocket science to work out that they're growing. But more importantly, it doesn't make sense for them not to, because if you look at traditional crime, where you'd get your shotgun, you go down to the bank, you hold somebody up with a stocking on the head, it doesn't pay off anymore because one, people are there, with their social media cameras videoing you, you're likely to get caught faster. There's less money in the banks now because it's all electronic, and actually the sentences are higher for violent crime. So actually it makes sense for criminals to move over. They can go from a non-extradited country or a country that has little laws around that and attack anywhere in the world. The payback is better. So it's just a numbers game. So we've got to get better at defending it. So attacks are developed to serve an interest. So the interest might be data gathering, it might be commercial espionage, it might be monetary. It's everything from actually the really large nation state things which are designed to test defences and potentially overwhelm them, right down to somebody wanting kudos who maybe doesn't understand the implications of attacking somebody legally. So S.A. Miller, the head of the Defence Department area of this, says that it's cyber hygiene that keeps her up at night. When you look at some of the most successful attacks, they're down to dumb stuff. Now, that doesn't mean that fixing dumb stuff is easy, because the reality is that we've got really, really complex networks. Sometimes we can't patch things, we can't update things. National Health Service attack would be a really good example of this. So that isn't actually a problem with the IT teams and what they're doing. It's a problem when you have the ability to buy systems like multi-million pounds worth of machines that will be in oncology systems to find cancer. But those systems came with Windows XP, and part of the contract is they can't be updated without potentially invalidating the warranty. So then you've got, well, this is a vital piece of equipment, but if we update it with something new, it might stop working, and then we've just bricked something worth millions of pounds. So, this isn't easy stuff. Sometimes it's not down to technology, it's down to purchasing requirements or other things. And, the same thing with airports and aerospace and just banks. It's not as simple as we make out sometimes to fix the easy things. And that's why AI and autonomous mitigation may be one of the few hopes to actually help us do that. And cyber hygiene and patching and checking your configurations, it's the equivalent of cleaning your loos. It's not exciting, but it is where a lot of the breaches and the failures are. So I think it's going to happen over time. It is already happening. So the large organisations that we've seen that we work with are going, actually, this is where a lot of our risk is. It's relatively solvable risk. It's not necessarily easy to solve, but it can be done. So what they're looking at is autonomous mitigation as the first step to that evolution of sort of self-defending systems. And the end goal is something that's a bit more like a sort of DEFCON system. So like physical warfare, for example, with defence departments, if the missiles start flying over, then what happens is they all go down in a bunker, the accessibility is reduced, but the protection is increased. So ideally, we want to kind of mirror something like that, but with data access. So if you're under attack, the accessibility to that data might go down, but the protection would be increased. And you want systems to be able to do that autonomously, because essentially it's in nanoseconds that these things might happen. So at one stage, humans were washing their clothes with rocks in rivers, and people went, oh, here's the washing machine, isn't that fantastic? A great piece of automation, everybody wanted it, just like antivirus, everybody now has that. But that doesn't mean that suddenly everybody became house people of leisure, they use their time more productively for other things. Whether that's developing their family or building a business or, whatever it might be. So humans will always be part of this chain. They will just be doing stuff that is more interesting. Because at the moment, for some security operations centres or network operations centres, it must be a bit like that kid in the dam. There's holes everywhere, and where do you put your finger first? And somewhere's leaking, and it's overwhelming. And there are people leaving this industry due to attack fatigue or stress. And stress is becoming really a problem, and that isn't really that surprising when you look at the position a lot of people are in. So if we can start automating some of this stuff, giving them the washing machines in terms of security hygiene, then that's going to free them up to do more productive things. And most organisations would rather their technologists were looking at better ways of interacting with their clients or growing their businesses or connecting their data to serve people better.